The Someone You Should Know podcast with Rick Anthony, sponsored by Summarize. Repurpose podcast, webinars, and interviews for social media, websites, and email with the help of AI, all thanks to the help of Summarize. Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. On the podcast this time, twin sisters originally from Germany, now making their home in Los Angeles, California. Together, they are making beautiful music and using it to uplift us with high-frequency music and supportive lyrics. Their band is called Our Truth. The ladies are Corinna and Isabelle Cott. Ladies, willkommen.
Thank you, Rick, for having us here. We're very excited to be able to share our story and existence and be with you.
I have to say this. Wie geht es Ihnen?
Sehr gut. Uns geht es gut und Ihnen?
Oh, gut, danke. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich habe 4 Jahre im Hochschule.
Oh,
very nice.
Yeah.
Good accent, too. Very good.
It's really strange. The only time I really get a chance to use that was I was being bothered by a Hare Krishna at an airport one time. And I said, es tut mir leid, ich spreche kein English.
Well, if you'd like to practice today, we can do this whole thing in Deutsch.
Oh, well, geez. We might do that at some point later. But let's talk about your beginning. You ladies started off in Frankfurt, Germany, where your home was. By the age of 8, you were regularly performing in town events and expressing yourself with art and poetry in your teenage years. Let's talk about those formative years and talk about how that molded you two into who you are today.
Okay. Yeah, I think we were very lucky that our parents, in our world, we grew up with our parents both loving music, and our father especially was very expressive by being able to sing and dance anywhere. He had a really nice voice, and he was absolutely fearless. And because he had that, and also we would have lots of times that our radio, the number one thing you do at home is whoever gets up first turns on the radio. And it was on all day until it was time to go to bed for everyone, or I was watching a movie or something. But so being that the music was always on, there were times where we would have dinner together, and then our dad would say, hey, this is a good song, turn it up. And I was always the closest. I'd jump over there and I'd turn it on, and then maybe we would all get up and dance and sing and then sit down again afterwards.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I know, right? I feel like partially we lived in a movie. I mean, life has many sides, but this is our music side. So in the musical world, we were very supported and given this opportunity to feel fearless.
Awesome.
So,
Isabelle, you want to add anything to that, hon?
Yeah, I want to add that I just wanted to say that too. There was a lot of music in our upbringing, and then we come from a very small town. Our father was singing in the choir,
men's choir,
and at some point we started performing because the twins. It's those little girls look alike, they can sing, and so we started performing at those town events and Christmas events. We even sang in a Catholic church, and we're not even Catholic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very good. So, what is the town in outside of Frankfurt?
It's called Eppertshausen, and it's closer to Darmstadt, if anybody's familiar with the area. Okay. Frankfurt, yeah.
I got to get over to Germany. I did 20 years in the Air Force, and I thought I put GY on my dream sheet, and I wound up going GU to Guam instead, which is nowhere near Germany.
Well, the world is beautiful. I'm sure we can find beauty everywhere.
And my wife Leslie and I are going to London this summer, so maybe at some point we can head over to Germany and eat our way across the country.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a much shorter trip to get there.
There's a lot of beauty everywhere in Europe. It's definitely interesting, all kinds of countries.
We're contemplating actually taking a trip down the Rhine on one of those beautiful excursion boats. Oh, yeah. What brought you to Los Angeles? Who made the trip to Los Angeles first?
I did. Corinna did first. I did first because I had met someone, a musician, and we decided to move. We first lived in Seattle, and we decided to move to Los Angeles because it was just a bigger platform. Also, at the time, Seattle was still it was coming out, but it was still in the grunge kind of feel.
Okay,
and
so it was the mid 90s then, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So late 90s, but we were still really feeling that we could identify our music more or have a different whatever. Yeah, because LA, in the sense of I like to. It just came that way, but I feel it's spiritual, and spirituality now is made. I feel it's very much living in Seattle, but but it seemed at the time more resonating in LA. I don't know.
How did you handle the distance as far as that goes, being away from your sister for that length of time, 10 years?
It was much easier for Corinna than it was for me because I stayed behind.
Right.
So it was, the first 5 years were pretty hard, I have to say. So there was a lot of crying on birthday calls. But and that's very interesting. I learned to detach. Maybe having a twin sister and being separated for such a long time helped me to detach, because I had to emotionally detach from the situation in order to deal with it. So after 5 years, new people that I met didn't even hear that I have a twin sister. I'm so detached that it was an interesting time.
And Corinne, how did you deal without your sister for that length of time?
Isabel and I, the way that, even though we're twins and we grew up in the same household, blah, 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 we have a lot of differences. And one big difference that we had as children was that Isabel, as a spiritual being, which we believe we're all as spiritual beings, living a physical experience, Isabel was from the beginning aware of connection. We are all connected. Everybody mattered. I was actually quite egotistical, I don't know, whatever. It was more about me. So I wasn't really involving everyone else as much. I would just be selective. She was open to everyone. So when I moved away, I guess it was therefore also easier for me because I was very self-centered about what's happening to my world. So I didn't actually miss Isabel for the first few years until it sank in. I want to cry. It sank in how much this person is a part of me, and I have so much history, and she was so often like my big sister, if you want, because I was more scared as a child.
Because the one who sees connections is a little more motherly, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be.
So anyway, it was easy, thank God, but thank God it's also not happening anymore, because nowadays I can't imagine my life without my sister.
Isabelle, what brought you to the States as far as that goes? Was it just the fact that, hey, I miss my sister enough, I want to be there? Or was there a reason? Was it job related or something like that got you to the States?
No, it was love related that made me stay here. It wasn't really the plan. I visited her over 10 years, on and off. But that's what made me stay.
But the big indicator, I'd say, was our father's death.
Well, this was the reason why I was there at that time. And
take care of your father who was ailing?
Yeah, he had just died.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's part of life.
Yep. I know. Sadly, I was married for almost 40 years, and I lost my wife in 2018, and my life totally changed coming back home. As far as my one of my dearest friends that I've known since 7th grade choir said, "You need to come back home and heal." And sure enough, and next thing you know, she and I are an item, and a couple of years later we're married, and she's the one that actually said that I needed to do this podcast show. So
good woman.
Yeah, she is a good woman. Very good. Like I say, I've known her since 7th grade choir, and she also speaks German too. So
hey, so at least you have someone to practice with.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of do that from time to time when we're out shopping or something like that. We don't want anyone to know what's going on or whatever like that.
We do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to some music here. I know everyone's chomping at the bit. Want to hear some music? First song we're going to feature is "Do You Still." The video on this is very interesting. Can you give us the backstory and also the story on the video?
The backstory of the song itself was actually during COVID. And it was this time of feeling like what I learned during that time, it was very two-sided, like very intense two sides of belief systems. And I was really, it affected me. I felt like there's a lot of judgment that came around at that time. Right, I felt like people up until that point were still allowing each other to be more, and now suddenly it became such a personal existence that suddenly people were pointing fingers at each other, and there was so much more anger, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm right, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. The government.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Isabel and I believe, like, we will always come from the best point. Every human being always comes from their best belief, and so they're doing their best, and so we don't like to judge anyone for what they're believing, but we like to be allowed to believe anything, as long as we don't hurt anyone. It doesn't hurt anyone to believe something. So the song was inspired by this idea of the times. And then the video actually was by the cinematographer who shot the video. He also had this idea about the video. He knows us well, and he knows that our story is always about love. That is our favorite subject. And so he did this about the two sides with the black and white.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Just so you know, we will include the video link down in the show notes. So anyone listening right now,
Hi, you said it. There's the kitty.
that one was Chloe.
Hello, Chloe.
Anyone listening in will be able to go ahead and check out the video for themselves. So let's check it out together. It's a great song, Do You Still, from Our Truth. And from Our Truth, Corinna and Isabelle Cott right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Do you still want this the way that I saw you? Do you believe that there's always tomorrow? Do you still want this? Do you still look for the answers, if you will? There is a way to let go of the past, so come on, let me show you the way it could last. If you do what you want and do your thrill, follow the heart and let it in. You hold the key, so let me tell you what I see, because the truth inside is totally to be. Believe in love and help us all to find it free. All the support that's waiting for us, come with me now. All these emotions are paths of the heart. If we follow our truth, we will know where to start, and then we'll be the one, we'll make the rule. Always authentic, never cruel. You hold the key, so let me tell you what I see, because the truth inside is totally what to be. Believe in love and help us all to find it free. All the support that's waiting for us, come with me and see. Now I hear this, now is clear. Your hand in mine, souls all inside. Still waiting. You hold the key, so let me tell you what I see, because the truth inside is totally what to be. Believe in love and help us all to find it free. All the support that's waiting for us, come with me. You hold the key, so let me tell you what I see, because the truth inside is totally what to be. Believe in love and help us all to find it free. All the support that's waiting for us, come with me and see.
Great song right there. Do You Still, from Our Truth. And from Our Truth is Corinna and Isabelle Cott. By the way, the video for that is available down in the show notes. I will include those and a couple other videos they have down in the show notes. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, I want to say thanks so much for tuning into the Someone You Should Know podcast. You can find us on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. If you go there, you're going to find our recent news, our archive of more than 180 episodes, and a whole lot more. And if you've been enjoying the podcast, we invite you to leave us a review. It helps us out big time. According to Buzzsprout, the service that shares us to all the different streaming platforms, gosh, we are so incredibly blessed. Over 2,300 cities in 90 countries around the world. And I want to salute some in these fine ladies' home country of Germany. Ladies, are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Frankfurt and Hanover and Munich, or München, as I used to say. Krefeld, Bonn, Schonenwald, Oberammergau, and a big contingent of friends at headquarters USAFE and Ramstein Air Base in Germany. So there you go. Everyone's listening.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
The Someone You Should Know podcast, heard wherever quality streaming audio is available. Hi, it's Rick again for Summarize. Summarize repurposes your content from audio and video into engaging, shareable social posts, email content, summaries, quotes, and more. Hey, it's hard work to create high-quality content from podcasts and video content. Summarize gives you multiple types of content to support your marketing channels, from social media posts and email newsletters to show summaries and a whole lot more. As a matter of fact, if you go there today, you can upload up to 60 minutes for free and find out why I like it so much. Go to summarize.com to learn more. That's SUMMARAIZE.com. Thanks for listening, and now back to our podcast. I want to thank you for listening. Our Truth is on tap. Corinna and Isabelle Cott on board today. And you mentioned about being sensitive to the content of lyrics and the importance of high-frequency music. How do you ensure that your music embodies these principles?
So everything that we're writing, I mean, this is very authentic music, and the majority of it is, if you want, channeled. So it's not even thought about. It just has the intention of writing a song, and the words come. And they're, of course, aligned with our beliefs. Mm-hmm. So they are having always this kind of message, because this is the message we carry. This is our mission here. This is what we're doing. So it's very true.
You're simply an antenna is all you are. You know, you're just radiating
That's exactly
the vibe. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The music is really good. And I have to tell you that. And I really and truly love positivity. There's so much coming out of the Seattle grunge scene, and everything was down and depressed and death and this and that and the other. And to have such vibrance, it's just not enough happiness out there. Everyone is just down. And, you know, I think just listening to your music, instead of taking some depression medicine, maybe just listen to this music. I think that'll feel kind of good.
Well, thank
you.
You.
But a nice prescription of that. A good prescription.
We agree.
Truth right there. Absolutely. That's Dr. Rick right here. Remember, ask
very
the
nice, Dr. Rick.
Ask the doctor if our truth is helpful for you.
There is also something that I want to add, which is lyrically, we believe that affirmations, the things that I don't want to say, you see the things that we repeatedly say, they create something. And those negative lyrics, I notice sometimes I listen to the radio and then something gets stuck in my head and I wake up with it, but it's rarely supportive. Suddenly I have in my head, you can't do it, or something. So it's kind of not to say that all the music on the radio has negative lyrics, but we are very aware by now that we don't listen to lyrics that are unsupportive. We don't listen to those messages that are negative.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so bad to go to sleep with an earworm, especially if it's bad music.
Right. Or bad words, yeah.
Bad words. Now, in line with Nikola Tesla's teachings, how do you perceive the connection between energy, frequency, vibrations, and how that impacts our lives through music and art?
Well, we totally believe that life is, as he says, his sentence was, if you'd like to understand the universe, and I translate that as life, if you want to understand life, you see it as frequency, vibration, and energy. Because even if you go from an atom, if you go really, really small, you know that everything moves. Nothing is solid. Mm-hmm. And what we perceive as a table or a tree or whatever, these are just different amounts of numbers of the same stuff. Really, we're all of the same stuff. Nature, animals, people, it's all the same. So in that sense, it's not as solid as we perceive it, and therefore it's also changeable. Okay, so as well as different thought. Go ahead.
No, I want to say that of course it's solid, but at the same time,
solid.
No, it is. At the same time, it's energy. So it's both. This is the thing where I feel like when people say that we are all connected and separation is an illusion, it is not an illusion. It is an experience, but it's only part of the story. In one perspective, as separated beings, where we can have an ego, where we must have an ego to even have an experience, we must be separate of each other. If we were like Corinna and I mashed into one, where's my experience? So she's separate of me, so I can experience this other person. But underlying is the energy, and that was suppressed, this whole mindset that we're coming back to, that it's all energy, where from the energetic perspective, we are all one. And here we are completely touching, my sister and I, who are not physically touching, energetically we are. In the energy field that she creates and I create and we're completely touching, and all is one. So the idea of the frequency everything's energy, and frequency just means like a faster movement. It's like this is the wave that moves faster, and with that there's more light. I mean, there's just more experience, faster experience. We can create good things. The low frequency is usually experienced slower. What is the other one? Frequency, energy, and vibration. So actually, I was talking about the vibration because that's what you see. The wave is the vibration. The frequency is, where is it? Where is it? Where are we vibrating? Are we vibrating on a low frequency in which we create things we don't want? Are we vibrating on a higher? I feel like the higher frequency, the more information we have, the more we are connected to the field, to everything in the field, to the information in the field that then comes to us and brings to us what we really want. And it's not shaded by wounds again, the more aligned we are, and the more we clean up our own energy, and the more we think positively and enjoy, have appreciation for what is, the more beautiful we can create in this world.
I want to talk about another great song that you got here that is absolutely imbibes everything that you said. It's called Free. And I really love this song here. I'm glad we're showcasing it. Can you tell us about this song?
Well, it's about the freeing of self. Like, I feel we can create the most beautiful world if we have awareness that we can. So we come from this material world. We are material beings in a material world, so we can only react to what is. We forgot the energetic side, which is actually broadcasting into a field, and then electromagnetic field becomes the visuals of what we just broadcasted, if you want, or the experiences and the people. In the song, it's like, come, let me see you free, which is, by the way, a t-shirt I'm wearing right now. You will not be able to see
okay.
it on your, unless you show that visual. So this is the liberated divine feminine energy. It's like we are all meant to be free. It's about being free. We have free choice. I do believe that everything in life is free because energy is free. Energy is flowing all the time, and it's abundant, and everything is there. And in the beginning of the song, for example, I'm dancing romantic. Yeah, I'm dreaming, conceiving. I'm conceiving this life, and I feel like this is exactly what's happening. We are consistently conceiving the experience, but we put it out first. And this is, again, one of those things that makes life easier if we take responsibility for what we experience, and the power that we can actually change it when we see it and want it different.
Let's play a song right now. Free, from Corinna and Isabelle Cott, Our Truth, on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
I'm dancing, I'm dreaming, conceiving this life I am meant to believe in, invites me to light up and dive in. Come on, come on, come on, can you feel it? Take in the reins and build what is needed, all in the hands of who will you follow, or is it simply be? Come, let me see you free.
Great vibe on that one. As a matter of fact, not only is it a great vibe, great frequency, great energy on that one. That is free. Corinna and Isabelle Cott join me right now on the Someone You Should Know podcast. The video for that one will also be down in the show notes. And I want to talk about this next thing. It's something because I love musicals. You're working on a musical. Your album, Wondrous Life, is described as part of a musical that you wrote. Can you give us a little insight to the themes and messages that you explore both in the album and in the musical?
In the musical, it started out with that we sat together and we thought, what stories do we have in our own life? Because we believe, I start out by saying that we believe beyond what we see. So it already opens a whole other possibility, because we also believe that belief starts most of the things, right? So you have to first believe it in order to. But we've had as little children already experiences that are maybe beyond what everybody experiences, and so that door was already open. So we sat together and we said, what stories do we have in our lives that are worth sharing? And we are always keeping in mind, this isn't automatic. It's not that I'm actually going for it, but it's that we really enjoy being of service to the happiness of other people and animals and plants, but that everybody feels supported and that they have and inspired to find their own inspiration inside. Because our theory is, or I don't know if I say me, that every person has very unique traits, and they're meant. This is what life's about. Life is about to be happy and live your happiness. And that is very individual. Everyone has their own story that makes them happy. And so our musical is meant to be inspirational. And it's a romantic comedy. There's some funny stuff in it. And there's like 13 songs. And it's a love story because, again, we're into love. Different couples that find their last bits of coming to, I believe in the fifth dimension, in the higher frequency dimension where we're all zen with each other and we're allowing each other to be. And it doesn't mean we don't have arguments. It doesn't mean we don't have feelings of, I don't agree with you, but it's how we deal with these, to not cut someone down. Number one, respect. Let's have respect for each other.
Absolutely.
So the musical is, basically,
it's living in that time already. Yeah. In the musical, we are already a little more advanced as we just give a more loving example of being, baby.
And it has magic in it.
Very good. Now, we've talked about the musical. We've talked about your music. We've also talked about this shirt. You've got a great website. It's ourtruthmusic.com. I want everyone to check that out. That'll be down in the show notes also, because you're going to find out their story, their music. Isabelle's got a page. Corinna's got a page. You do it in English. You do it in Deutsch. You've got art, you've got photos, you've got a whole bunch of great stuff like there. And hopefully this podcast will end up somewhere in the interviews that you could check it out at a later date too. But I want everyone to check out ourtruthmusic.com. What are some other socials that we can reach at and stay in tune to what's going on for the remainder of 2024?
We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook. All the links to those sites are on our website. If you go to ourtruthmusic.com, you can push for Spotify or for...
But we were a little slow. I mean, we go like through stages because this thing is like, I'm going to speak for me. I know that technology is very serving in order for us to come together. Like right now, we don't sit in front of each other. We're using the computer, which is great. Thank you, God, for technology. But as a person who's very personable, sometimes it's hard for me to use the internet to put myself out there, right? So we do exist there, but we're being advised that we should maybe use it more, and that's probably true. But so, we have two Instagram accounts. Hers is with underscores. If somebody looks for the name Our Truth Music, you will find two names. One has the underscores in between and the other one not.
The easiest to go on our website and push the links because they're all there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you sign up to our website, we're going to interact with you more.
Awesome. Very good. So we'll include that down in the show notes so everyone can make sure that they stay in tune with what's going on with the beautiful music that's coming out of these beautiful ladies here. The next feature is something that we've done for ages. It's called Tales from the Road. These are those infamous road stories where things didn't go quite as planned. Now, I understand this. What you've got is not necessarily a road story, but it is something that happened while you're performing. You want to share that moment with us, please?
That's for you.
Only because you want us to share it. It's not.
Put a positive spin on it, okay?
Yeah, it'll have a positive spin because I can laugh about it now.
Okay,
At the
very
time,
good.
it wasn't funny at all. It was actually quite hard for her. And Isabel blocked it out. She's like,
no, I usually like, oh, it's what it is, whatever. Oh, not so cool, whatever. Move on.
Okay.
We were playing with the band, and we had this gig like once a week in a tea house. And so we met this man who came a few times, and he really enjoyed what we were doing. And so he ended up inviting us to play at his party. Okay. And so we come there. And, we first socialize and whatever. And then we're being asked, okay, can you play now? And this was a house that had a lot of different rooms. So we were told to be in this one room, and the room fills up. We're closing the door. We played acoustic. It was just a guitar and vocals. Right. So it's a really nice experience for about 2.5 songs or something. And suddenly, dance music, like seriously with the bum, bum, bum beat starts to play.
In the middle of our song.
Because what we didn't see, that every room had speakers. And somehow the guy who invited us, he wasn't there as we were playing. He told us, okay, it's time, but he wasn't checking on it or anything. And I don't know what his reasoning was. So once he started to turn this on, at first we were like, why is this happening to us? I mean, honestly, I've never been this shocked. It was really hard for me to deal with the fact that we're in the middle of a show and we're being ripped out, and all of us are being ripped out because we're all in this space.
But it's like I have to really say, it's not just that we got interrupted with the song. Corinna can get so into the music and so one with the music that even in the past when I stop a song, she would get upset. She's upset. She was like,
wait, I got better. But at that time, it really upset me. And then we looked for him and we couldn't find him, and then we finally found him, and I was not. I wish it were a happier story or a funnier story. But this is the worst story that I could think of that where really something went very wrong. Yeah. We've been lucky otherwise with technology and other stuff, but that is like
count your blessings because I've heard some horror stories.
I'm sorry, I bet you hear a lot of horror.
No, I do. There was one that they mentioned this young girl was playing in this venue, and she realized immediately that it was the wrong crowd for her style of music.
Yeah.
Because it was more, love songs and stuff like this. And it was like a biker bar. And it just definitely didn't fit. And she said she called one of her dear friends to show up there to just basically be there in case something breaks out to where she can grab her gear and get the heck out of there fast. So it was just one of those situations. She did survive. And,
right. We always survive.
I've heard some interesting ones, and that is, of course, a good tales from the road there. Let's talk final thoughts there. Isabelle, any final thoughts you want to talk about?
Well, my final thought is I wish for everybody to lead a happy life. Be aware that you are a little more in charge of what is happening to you than maybe we all learned. So watching energy, being mindful, being aware of what we're thinking, not falling into all patterns. It's really great so we can all create this most beautiful world that we are all worthy of. Big one. We're all worthy of it. I look forward to it. Thank you for having us.
And Corinna, how about you, darling?
Yeah, okay, I'll add that I believe, and I believe in multidimensional existence, and I believe in other lives, and I have, the way that I understand my life, I waited for this one. This is the very, very special time for everyone who's alive right now, because it's the first time where we are supported enough to find ourselves. I believe that there was a lot of suppression and a lot of misguidance, and it brought us away from us. And this is the time we're coming back to authentic selves. And that's beautiful because we all have so much to give. So, and I do think it's partially a very challenging time. So anyone who's being challenged in these recent months, or even a couple of years or whatever, some years now, I want you to know this too shall pass, and it's a very exciting time. And the more we can find peace within, if it's meditation or going into nature or having a great hug with a friend, all of these things are shifting us back to a higher frequency, more trusting space, because we want to be in trust. I think if all of us can have trust that it is with reason. Sometimes we don't know why, but if we trust that it's going to come back to a more pleasant experience, which I believe that's what life always does eventually, then we can have we won't be flipping out too much or being scared. And,
Very well said. Very well said. The last song we're going to feature is Whenever. Let's talk about Whenever. What's the backstory on Whenever?
That's a completely channeled love song.
Oh.
I was thinking of somebody I really care for, and I was sitting in the sun, and I felt it coming. That's how it usually happens, that I can feel there is a melody coming, and then I take my phone, and it's really channeled as you hear it. So it just came out like that, much slower, which often happens, that it comes out slower. And then I just recorded it. That's really it. It's a total love song. But I say it's a love song because, okay, so it's a personal love story if you want, but love itself, the love that I can feel for a person is not much different than I feel the energy field has for me. It has to do something with appreciation. And I came to a point where I feel very, very loved by the field. Mm-hmm. And by me feeling loved by the field, I also created better experiences. There comes the trust and all those things. And this song it's an invitation to come into the arms of love, which we could change to the words of, it's an invitation to come into the arms of appreciation and experience life through the eyes of appreciation, because then we can really be living peacefully, and everything that happens to us, if I say I can appreciate it, then even something that doesn't feel good has value. Absolutely. And I learn from it. So this is the love song for all. It's like the invitation to come into the arms of love, as I felt like.
Very good. The song is Whenever. The band is Our Truth. The ladies are just absolutely wonderful. Corinna and Isabelle, God bless you both for having a wonderful...
Bless you too, Ray.
It was so nice having you on the show. Thanks for being part of our growing family here on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, bless you, bless you.
We're making the world a better place.
And when you are with me, I see you are with me. And all I ever wanted is here in your arms. And when you go with me, I know there is freedom there. All I ever wanted is where you are with me. Come see my life. Allow me to take your hand and guide you. I know that you want me to, and I will be yours. I feel you, I see you, always with you. I hold you, and all that is gone, all that is done, I am with you forever. what you wanted to, and love will be yours.
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for listening to this episode of Someone You Should Know. Now, if you're an aspiring musician or an established musician that's looking for a little exposure, I invite you to drop us a line at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. That's someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. Also, I invite you to tell a friend about the Someone You Should Know podcast. I thank you for tuning in this time, and I invite you to check us out next time on the Someone You Should Know podcast, because you never know who's going to show up. Until next time, remember, God loves you, and so do I.